Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin, here to talk Packers on the eve of Family Night. Man, it got here quick. Really excited to see the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field tomorrow, throwing at nets, doing pretty much nothing that really matters, but just getting in front of the hometown crowd is going to be a lot of fun. So we've got an awesome show for you guys tonight. We're going to recap the training camp practice from earlier today. They went a little light today, I guess, in preparation for the Family Night festivities tomorrow. We're going to give you all the injury updates that came out of over there at the practice facility. We're going to give you the offensive updates, try to keep things organized. We'll show you some Jordan Love clips from that practice. We'll also give you a defensive update, and then we'll just kind of get you guys ready for Family Night tomorrow night. Before we jump into all of that, if you would, do me a big favor. Let's get this YouTube stuff out of the way. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you're new here, welcome into PTA. We appreciate you making us a part of your evening. Listen, we're not experts here. We're not insiders. What we are fans just like you, and here talking Packers on the daily throughout the season. We'll be giving you in-depth analysis. We'll be giving you pre-game shows, post-game shows, film breakdown, the whole 9 yards. So if you're looking for daily Packers content, make sure you hit sub and hit that bell icon so you're notified every time we do go live. Jacob, how you doing today, bub? How's the weather up there in Wisconsin?
I'm doing all right. If you guys can bear with me, I got the internet thing figured out. Emilio helped me. Clayton helped me. But now I'm working on a very small screen for the next couple days. But I'm just really happy that we were able to figure out what's going on. And, hey, what a better way to start out the episode than United Bates celebrating the fact that we had just hit 5,000 subs. He says, let's go. Congrats, fellas. Go Pack, go. I really appreciate you. Clayton, you have anything you want to say about that?
No, I just want to say, Bates, thank you so much for the dono there, the super chat, and thank you for your support. You've been here pretty much since day one, as far as I can remember, and it's so cool that we've created kind of this little community here within the Packers fan base that we keep the toxicity out, and it's awesome when you look in the chat and you see the same people day in and day out. Numbers are growing. There's probably somebody hearing my voice right now that's like, man, I don't know these people. I don't really want to comment. Maybe you're nervous. You don't feel like you belong. We're looking for all newcomers, right? If this is your first time tuning in, man, be vocal in the chat. Just be respectful. That's the main thing we ask is everybody. We try to create an environment where everybody can get along. We can agree to disagree and try to break down what's going on. But, man, 5,000 subs, it got here a lot quicker than I expected. And at the rate we're going to be at 10K in the blink of an eye, and it's off to the races. So, yeah, Bates, thank you for that super chat. Also want to give a shout-out to Josh Vallantingham becoming a member here on YouTube. Pretty sure he's been a member before, probably just re-upped. But thank you so much for joining the PTA posse there. Jacob, it's going to be a good run, man. I'm telling you, we got a lot of good stuff in store for this year. As you just said, you kind of revamped your setup. We're going to be a lot smoother on your end over there. Obviously, Emilio's the tech guru. He's the youngest of the group. Surprise, surprise. He knows how all this stuff works, right? Tim, pretty much our insider, boots on the ground, doing a great job over there at practice and all that. He's out of town at the moment and just does a wonderful job on the drops, obviously. So it's going to be a fun year, man. I'm excited about it. But let's dive into it, man. Let's get into everything that happened today. Actually, let's see here real quick. King Tron in the chat says, hey, all, I was just looking today and noticed that out of the last 5 Pro Football Hall of Fame classes, we've had a player enshrined in 4 of them. Blessed to be a Packer fan. I didn't even realize that, Jake. I think that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose that would be, huh? That's crazy.
That's awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome, man. So appreciate the nugget there, Tron. You are the man. All right, let's dive into it, man. Let's start off with injuries here real quick, okay? And you guys know this is going to kind of set the tone for practice, or did set the tone for practice earlier today. And obviously, you want to play it safe. You don't want to get anybody out there at Family Night that may tweak an injury. Let's just get everybody kind of as healthy as quick as possible. Get the reps in for the players that you need to get the reps in, especially in the preseason, to get to see them go up against other teams in joint practices, the whole 9 yards. So Packers training camp practice number 8. This is Wes Hodkiewicz put this tweet out. New did not participate. All right, so these are the guys that set out for the first time today. Cornerback Nate Hobbs with a knee. wide receiver Jaden Reed with the toe, tackle Rasheed Walker with the groin, offensive lineman Travis Glover with the shoulder, cornerback Kamal Haddon with the hip, defensive line Aaron Mosby with the groin, and wide receiver Sam Brown Jr. with the groin. Other DMPs were Marshawn Lloyd with the groin, Christian Watson obviously with the knee, Colin Oliver still getting healthy with that hamstring, and John Williams with the back injury. I will say this, Jaden Reed did participate today. I think Wes had kind of corrected himself a little bit later in the practice. But when you look at those injuries, Jacob, this is nothing. I think it's awesome, man, that you look around the league. It's not awesome this is happening to the other teams. I'm saying from a Packers standpoint, it's nice to not have any major injuries in camp so far. We've already seen guys on other teams blow ACLs, break legs, everything, the whole 9 yards. So this is really nice here. As Coach Lynn says, none of those injuries I'm concerned about long term. I'm not either, Coach. What do you think, Jacob? We're pretty healthy for this time of year. I feel like, man, it seems like every year when we start up camp, somebody goes down the first week or two.
Yeah, I mean, knock on wood right here. I don't want to jinx this whatsoever, but you look at that list. I don't like the fact that Nate Hobbs may be a little bit injured. I don't like the fact, obviously, that Walker. I'll speak for Emilio and say that I hate that Glover has any sort of issue. Kamal Haddon, Aaron Mosby, Sam Brown. A lot of those guys, are they necessarily going to be starters? And on the back end there, not necessarily, but obviously we want everybody to stay healthy. But at this point in the season, going into family night, I do think that we are pretty blessed that we have not had any major types injuries. So consider me happy.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, the Rasheed Walker thing, that's the one that was really interesting today. I don't want to create any kind of speculation or rumors that don't, have any truth to them. But the tone I got from some folks was, did he really hurt his groin? Or is this more about, let's get Jordan Morgan some reps, right? And it's important that's another reason why we need to stay plugged in with what's actually going on too, because you could look at just the snap count today if you didn't know about the injury report and think, has Jordan Morgan passed Rasheed Walker at left tackle, right? Not the case. Rasheed Walker had the day off, obviously, with the groin injury. So just something to keep an eye on. I will say this too, man. It's usually hammies that's got us hamstrung, right, Jacob?
Hey,
but this year kind of feels like groins, does it not? Seems like groins are the thing that's the buzzword,
If I had $1 for every time I heard that groins are the problem, I tell you, I'd be a rich man. No, it stinks, but it is, one of those things where, obviously we saw Jordan Love struggle with that groin injury the back half of the season. It really did limit him. So as much as we're saying it's not a big deal, I hope that it's not going to turn into a bigger deal that kind of snowballs, throughout the season. So right now, let's count our blessings, be, I'd say optimistically hopeful. Hopefully optimistic, however you want to word it. But I right now, I think that I'm okay with where we are as far as injury wise. And, it is a testament to how Goody and Matt have decided to build this team that even if a certain amount of people go down, which God forbid happens, but if that does happen, we've got guys that are absolutely ready to step in and make some plays. Yeah,
definitely. Jen Wright in the chat said, need the 10 full cap there, Clay. I do. I need to get me one of those worked up for sure.
Holmes, I can make you one.
I bet you got extra.
I got a few.
Yeah. Holmes MD1 says, I read it as they must give Morgan reps. They probably can't afford to keep Walker next season. So they need to see what they have from Morgan. It's a great point. To me, if I had to put money on it right now, I would say that Rasheed Walker will not be back next year, but you never know what's going to happen because to me, the wild card here, Jacob, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, is Elton Jenkins' contract is like, if you decide to move on from Elton next year and free up that $20 million in cap space, listen, it could be fudged $2 million here, $2 million higher, $2 million lower, depending on how they want to structure the separation if they do decide to move on. However, if you go out this year and Rasheed Walker beats Morgan out for left tackle, he balls out, and you look up and go, you know what? Let's keep Rasheed Walker. Elton Jenkins might be the guy out. He might be the odd man out next year. So you just never know, man. I don't know. When it comes to Jordan Morgan, though, in a perfect world, he would be a better left tackle than Rasheed Walker. We could let Rasheed Walker walk into free agency. We'd be able to get possibly a third-round pick, depending on how the compensation kind of balances out in terms of the comp picks. But, yeah, that's how I would be looking at it, is try to get Morgan as many reps as possible. So,
yeah, I agree.
All right, let's move it along.
What do you think about this question from Coach Len real quick? Just because, I think that most people that have listened to this podcast has a pretty good understanding of my position. I've loved Walker since he was the 7th round draft pick that came out of nowhere, since I saw he was a finisher, since I saw that he's actually been a very, very successful pass protector in the NFL. Could he, use some improvement on his running game blocking? Absolutely. And I think that may be one of the only reasons that the Packers are willing to let him go, is if they see some of these 1st and 2nd round talent that they have, obviously with Belton and with Morgan, if they can actually slip him in there. I just think that this is a great year for them to, like you said, there's a chess move going on right now, trying to see if Elton is going to be as successful as they hope, and as whether or not, Walker can either keep that position at left tackle, or if another guy deserves to get those reps. And once he gets the reps, then they're comfortable either to move away from Walker, and if not, they might have to make a decision, like you said, with Jenkins. So, I don't think that I don't know. It's an odd situation because everybody knows what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Walker knows what's up. Jenkins knows what's up. LaFleur and Hafley knows what's up. The front office knows what's going on. It's just kind of one of those Spider-Man memes where everybody's looking at each other, or like The Office, where they're all the 3-gun salute kind of thing. Like, I don't know who's going to
down for this.
I'm not going down for this.
Such a good episode, by the way.
Yeah.
Start the car. Ain't that what she told Jim?
Yes. I want to go home.
Exactly. All right. So Chris the Casual N says it makes sense to pay a young left tackle versus an aging center. Love Jenkins too, though. Now, I think you perfectly put there, Chris. If Elton Jenkins, let's say he propels himself to be a top 3 center this year, I'm okay with them giving him a little bit of guaranteed money, maybe a 1 or a 2 year extension, and keeping him till he's 33. We've seen over and over and over again centers able to play to a little bit older age than other positions on the offensive line. But it really is going to come down to how he performs this year. And that's why Goody is so good at what he does. And Russ Ball too, finagling the salary cap, is you get yourself in a position where you've got options. You can bring Elton back next year. He's under contract, right? You could also move on because the majority of the guaranteed money's gone. So I think it's just a really, really smart way of doing business. Coach Lynn says Ryan would be cheaper. Ooh, look at that mug right there. Member of the PTA posse.
Just saying.
That's what I'm talking about, man. It tastes better out of that mug. Ryan would be cheaper, Coach Lynn says. That's another good point, Coach. And here's what's funny. As I'm reading that, I'm thinking, what if Goody says the hell with it, moves on from everybody next year? He doesn't re-sign Rasheed Walker. He cuts bait with Elton Jenkins. That wouldn't surprise me either. But, yeah, what if you could re-sign Sean Ryan for, say, $4 to $5 million per on a 3-year deal, give him $8 million guaranteed, and he's your center next year? I like my chances with Elton at center over Sean Ryan, at least up to this point, but I wouldn't rule it out, Coach. I think you make a good point. Let's see. Holmes MD1 says, if Jenkins can play center, he's not going anywhere, in my opinion. I like Walker a lot. He's just going to price himself out of Green Bay. I want to agree with that, Holmes, but I expected Zach Tom to get more money than he did.
Yeah.
So there's no way that Rasheed Walker will get more money than Zach Tom, because right tackles are getting paid just as much, if not more, than left tackles in today's game, because what a lot of defenses are doing is putting their best pass rusher on that side over the right tackle, knowing that teams have kind of taking the architectural approach of putting their best pass blocker at left tackle. Well, they've just kind of flipped. I mean, think about where TJ Watt lines up most of the time, right? He's at left edge over the right tackle. Myles Garrett lines up on the right over the left tackle. So that's one there. Obviously, we put Gary predominantly on the left side over the right tackle. You got a lot of, Max Crosby plays a lot on that side as well. So the fact that Zach Tom, his cap is going to be so low, I would expect Rasheed Walker to, his contract to be less than Zach Tom's. So when you look at it, you could say, all right, what does Zach Tom's contract look like? He got $30 million guaranteed. What if you gave Sheed $20 million guaranteed? That's one of those where you could turn a 4-year extension into really a 2 if you want to move on. But again, to me, Jacob, it always comes down to precedent, man. When was the last time the Packers paid 4 offensive linemen top money? When I say top money, I mean starter money. It just doesn't happen very often,
It doesn't, and it's because we do such a good job of being that kind of farm team that absolutely builds that team in the draft and through UDFAs and free agency. Like there's been so many years where guys that are seemingly nobodies, 4th round picks, 5th round picks, 6th round, 7th rounds, guys that are off the street, no name dudes that all of a sudden in 2-3 years after they're under the tutelage of that Green Bay just organization, they, for whatever reason, I mean, if you had to say one thing about the Green Bay Packers is that they know how to homegrown the offensive linemen. So in a way, like obviously You hate to see your favorite players go. I hated watching Clifton go. I hated watching Bach go. I hated watching, enter Corey Linsley, all these guys that have had to go over the years. John Runyon, even. I didn't want him to leave. Did he play the way I wanted him to? Not necessarily, but I wasn't ready to cut bait at that time. Thank God I'm not a GM of the Green Bay Packers, right? So I have faith in the system, and if you want to call me a bootlicker or a homebody or whatever you want to say, fine. I'll take that, label it right over my forehead. That's fine with me. But I really do have faith in the Packers and the way that they can absolutely put together the best front five pretty much every year.
Right. And H.E. Soder says, yeah, but the offensive tackle position just reset upwards after Tom signed. That's the thing, especially in-house, Soder. You've got to there's comps that's involved in the negotiations. And Zach Tom's contract was far lower than what the comps suggested. So, again, we should be thanking our lucky stars that Zach Tom's a Packer because he chose to take less money. That's the reality of that whole situation. Now, with that being said, what's the comps on Rasheed Walker, right? And that's how they would approach that negotiation. And just quick little reference here, Spot Track has his calculated market value at $17.8 million average annual salary. Okay, so that's what you could say would average out in terms of just the average contract. Is a very, very basic way of looking at it. And when they break the whole contract down, typically they'll give you a little bit of guaranteed money prediction, and they did not on this specific one. Just going through it here, 4 years, 71 million, average salary 17. So they don't give a guaranteed money thing there, but his average prime percentage change compared to Orlando Brown Jr., Cam Robinson, Jordan Mailata, and Walker Little is negative 3.1%, just showing you how he should be far cheaper than those guys right now. With that being said, remember the fair market value that we had stamped on Zach Tom. That contract came in way lower. So if you went to Rasheed Walker, let's say by week 7 or 8, and this is breaking precedent in Green Bay, keep that in mind. It's how likely we'll do that. But if you go to him week 7, week 8, and he's balling out and go, hey, let's get you on the books for $15 million per on a 4-year deal, and we'll give you $20 million guaranteed. It's going to be hard for Rasheed Walker to go, nope, I'm going to try to make it through these next 11 weeks unless we go into the playoffs, even longer than that, without it getting hurt, and then I'm going to test the market. That's why it becomes so appealing to these players is obviously get some guaranteed money, get a little bit of security. And that's what they mean by security for sure. Ron Samble in the chat says, are the Packers one dominant edge player away from a Super Bowl? I know where you're going with this, Ron.
Uh-oh.
I've gotten hammered with questions all day on Twitter going, Clayton, man, what would you give up for Micah Parsons? What would you give up for Micah Parsons? Boys, I'm just telling you right now.
A ham sandwich and a bag of chips.
It's you're setting yourself up to have a $40 million a year contract for an edge defender, right? And don't get me wrong, it's tier 1 of importance. If we think if Micah Parsons so damn good, right? If he's so good, and I say the same thing about TJ Watt. I say the same thing about Max Crosby and all the Myles Garrett, all these guys, right? If they're worth $40 million per, why aren't their teams in the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't even know. Did the Raiders make the playoffs last year? I honestly can't remember.
No.
I don't think they did. Dallas didn't make the playoffs, right? Who else? The Cleveland Browns didn't make the play. You know what I mean? And exactly. The rest of the team sucks. I got that. But does the rest of the team suck because the blueprint you're chasing sucks? You know? And again, why did Dallas fall on their face? Dak Prescott got hurt again, right? You remember that? He was banged up. Okay, why is he banged up? Probably has something to do with the offensive line. What route did Goody take? He went la 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 la. When everybody said we need to go out and get a big name receiver. We need to go out and get a top edge defender, right? And what did he do? He went out in free agency and got an offensive lineman, an interior offensive lineman. You know what I mean? He spent a 2nd-round pick on Anthony Belton that a lot of people scoffed at. So, again, there's a reason those teams aren't ever in the playoffs or haven't been here lately. And the Packers just steady Eddie. Their stock just slowly keeps rising. Guys, we were listed by Fox NFL as the number 2 team in the NFC. Think about that.
I was just going to say, too, Clinton, today, I don't remember which ESPN analyst or writer, whatever it was, they listed the top NFC quarterbacks. And guess what? I think I saw a comment that I highlighted from AFM here where he said, "Yep, have the powers shifted to the NFC with Jaden Daniels in Washington?" Well, I'll tell you what, I don't remember the exact way that they had the rankings, but the number one ranking I remember for sure because it was Jordan Love. And it wasn't just some Joe Schmo. It was like an actual guy that had a full-on segment about it. I didn't have a time. Obviously, I was at work. I'm blessed to have the ESPN. I got like literally 25 TVs that are on constantly going. So I get to kind of glance while I'm working. But it was I stopped for a couple seconds and I just looked at it and I yelled to my buddy Michael, who's a coworker who's a diehard Vikings fan. I went, "Look at that. Look at that right there." Because he was just talking about how Jordan Love was, whatever. It wasn't the guy. And I'm like, huh. Ain't that something? I think Jaden Daniels is number 2. I think they had Baker in there. I believe Jalen Hurts was number 4 or 5. And then I think maybe Dak or something like that was in there. But to me, I really do think that there's not enough respect on Jordan Love's name. And this year, people are going to understand why.
Yeah, and here was a clip that was put out by Bill Huber. And just watching him move around, it's going to be a slow motion one. Look at the footwork. Look at the footwork. Our boy looks healthy. That knee's good to go. And again, just an absolute dime piece right there into the net. Bang.
I love the casual duck by the coach. Like, all right.
And they have them standing there too, so they're in the throwing lane, right?
Right,
That's
exactly.
another thing they do. But again, let's watch it from the beginning. Just watch the feet. Watch the feet. Clean footwork, square up, step into the throw. I love his overhand too, man. You notice the way he throws. He could change arm angles, but his overhand delivery is just, I mean, it looks flawless right now in camp. And it's camp. It's different when you got a bunch of hog mollies running at you, right?
Hey, can I ask you a question? Because obviously you would know this being a baseball guy. So I remember I randomly had this one coach, and I was just over hearing. I used to play fullback too, so I was listening to the quarterback's coach talking to my quarterback, and he was talking about how when a baseball throws, they want that hand to go across their body, whereas with the football throw, they want it to almost go completely over the right side. If they're a right-hand thrower, they want it to completely go underneath or basically skimming that right hip. Is that something you've ever heard of? Or
everybody teaches it a little bit different. The big difference between throwing a baseball, and it depends on if you're in the field or if you're actually pitching. I feel like you're probably referring to pitching. With pitching, yes, you want to follow through, drive off your plant leg, and come all the way across the body. What we would say ear to hip. Your hand should go from your ear down to your hip, your opposite hip. With Jordan or with any quarterback, it's kind of like throwing a slider in baseball. When you throw a slider, your arm angle has to come sideways to get the spin, right? So the big thing is index finger on the ball, just a good square base. Watch his base, and this is what this drill is designed to do. Fade left, square up, look at him, open the hips up.
Yeah,
it's perfect. So yeah, I think everybody probably teaches a little bit different. And there's a reason. I always tell people this too, especially I was working with my niece the other day in the front yard. She's playing softball. Let me tell you, she's going to be a damn baller, dude. She was hitting the ball off the tee like a damn guy. I'm just telling you. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting it either. My wife was like, will you go out and work with Lydia a little bit today? Yeah, we'll get out there. Watch her hit on a tee. I was like, oh, let's go. So, the first thing I tell people, especially when it came to baseball, is the worst thing you can do as a coach is just get a kid and completely change their swing.
Yeah.
Right. There's a reason Steve Young's throwing motion looked different than Brett Favre. There's
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, exactly. Phillip Rivers, the way he threw a football, it looked like someone's grandmother throwing a football.
It really did.
When it leaves his hand, you think it's never going to get there, and it always got there. So, yeah, it's been interesting, man. But again, with Jordan, though, to me the mechanics look really, really good. I think I've got another clip here too. Yeah, here's a couple of clips. This is from Ryan Wood here. Go give him a follow at by Ryan Wood over on X. Hopefully we can go full screen here. Gotta watch this music here. You never know.
Copyright.
Yeah. So look at our boy. Fake the handoff.
Nice.
Right? He's gonna step up, open up, throw to the one.
Dude, that is clean. That is just clean, man.
You can tell that he has worked on the footwork
this
offseason. I mean, it does. It looks smooth.
It's a weird. Sorry, it's a weird observation. Right now, it feels like he has better control on his lower body. And if you guys remember, towards the end of Rodgers' career, into that 2019 to 2020 season, into the 2021, which I believe he had wasn't that the back-to-back MVPs again, where he
Think
talks
so.
about how he put more emphasis on his lower body. He squatted more. He understood that that's where the torque, that's where the mass amount of power from his throws was generating from his lower body. And don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers made a career out of throwing backhanded off the back foot, twisting around, not even with any plant foot, whatever the case may be. He was that type of gunslinger. But as he gets older, he had to realize that you have to have that full range of motion to really get that gunslinger in there. And it's nice that Jordan has probably understood that, hey, while I do have that natural arm strength, if I really want to be a pinpoint accurate quarterback, I have to be able to put my feet in the ground, lock in, have a great delivery. And right now, and also I love that play fake, dude. He just looks like he's really, really ready to go, man.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I think we got another shot here. Get
that
this
music out of there.
Yeah, I think this is him. This may be, this should be J Love again. Let's see what this one is now. Another play fake.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of throwing. Now you can see right there, right? You could see Coach Lynn will tell you, I'm sure in the chat, mechanics aren't perfect there. See how he kind of jumped to open up the hip rather than stay square, stay grounded, let that thing rip. But when you got the arm talent he's got, man, and
do you
again,
call that a crow step? Is that what they used to call it? Like a
little crow hop.
Yeah.
To me, it looks a little bit in between what Jordan or what Aaron would do. Aaron would just kind of twist his hips, and that's what he talked about, generating power from the ground.
Yeah.
Right. Watch him kind of see how he kind of opens his hips up to throw there. It's still, and again, when you got elite arm talent, you can do that type of stuff. And that was the big thing that Greg Cosell said about Jordan Love was like, listen, the kid has elite. This is Greg Cosell. This ain't Clayton talking. The kid has elite arm talent. The question is he going to be the same player week in and week out, day in and day out? When things don't go his way, is he going to be the same quarterback going into the facility every day and working on the fine details? Because he's got the arm, and you see it, man. I mean, it looks so effortless, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
There you go. Yeah, Coach Lynn's still working on off-platform throws. And again, that's the thing, right? What's that tell us, too? Are we going to be seeing a little more boot action from under center because now he's healthy? That would make a lot of sense to me, I believe. So,
Yep.
yeah. All right, let's move it along here. Up next, this was pretty cool. Mike Spofford, he's been crushing it in camp with the updates. Make sure you guys are following him at Mike Spofford. Double play action from Love, then quickly sets his feet and fires to Golden on the crosser. Well executed. So, Matthew Golden, and I think I've got a clip here. I just wanted to mention that was during team, and I'm kind of bouncing in and out of team here, and then we're going to show some individual drills as well. But Matthew Golden, Jacob, he keeps popping, dude. Like, everybody's talking about it. Anybody who's attending practice is like, yeah, this kid don't look like a rookie. He does not look like a rookie. Look at the back shoulder fade, and then grab it off the inside. Yep. And the big thing that we've seen on the college tape for Matthew Golden is the strong hands, catch point. Like he never panics when the ball's in the air. Does that not look like a throw that we would have thrown to Romeo Doubs a couple years ago? So it makes me wonder. I know he's going to be Z most of the time, that speed Z. And I'm not saying we should put Romeo Doubs on the bench. Romeo Doubs might be our best receiver. That could be the case. But when you see catches like that, why not slide him into the X when Rome isn't on the field, you know?
Absolutely. And I mean, you can't argue with the way that he's came in and splashed. It's honestly, I'll be completely honest. I've said it before, but I had no real high hopes for him. I really didn't. I didn't see it on tape. And it's just because I think I didn't want to. It was one of those guys. I've talked to you guys about how I'm always rooting for the underdogs. I didn't think he was going to reach to us in that draft. I did not think that Matthew Golden would be available. So I really didn't do a lot of tape. I didn't do a lot of research. I thought that Isaiah Bond was the better one in Texas. All this rubbish that I now know is stupid. And now I look at this guy on field, on tape every single day. What do we complain about last year with oh, sorry, I didn't mean to take you down, Affam. Oof. What did we talk about last year that we complained about with our wide receivers? It was the fact that they weren't consistent. We had so many drops. We had so many miscues. We had so many things that made Jordan and our whole offense look bad, even though we were actually a pretty damn good offense when all things were considered at the end of the year. You imagine now if we've shored that up and we got a guy like him that understands the assignment. The game doesn't seem too fast or too big for him. And I really do, like Clint's talking about, he's got great body control. He's got great, adjustment in the air. He seems like just like what Coach just said, literally right there. I'm very, very high on him. And like I said, I'll tell you this, he's catapulting up the ranks in the fantasy drafts where he was going neck and neck with Jaden Reed. I think that the hype that is coming out of camp is absolutely giving him some draft stock that's shooting sky high right now. So if that tells you anything.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Again, I've been very impressed with him. I'm so used to trying to curb the enthusiasm when it comes to rookie wide receivers, but Matthew Golden has won me over. Here's one too, Jayden Reed in the back of the end zone. This is gonna play tricks on your mind here, okay? Jayden Reed's in the background back here, and you're gonna want to look right here because the camera. Try to focus on Jayden Reed, okay? And it's gonna be Love to Reed. This is Malik throwing to Dobby on the front side here, but watch the back. And look at Reed's hands right here, right? Just the way he snatches the ball out. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's the other thing. You get a player like Matthew Golden into camp, and all of a sudden all these guys start, it's almost like you just need one dude to tear down the wall to get away from the body catches. Not that Jayden Reed was ever a body catcher, but it just seems like everybody's playing with strong hands right now, for sure. AFAM in the chat says, takes a lot of pressure off of Jayden Reed. The whole wide receiver group gets better. That's very well said. Very well said. We got Emilio joining us now. Emilio, we're just in here drooling over the practice footage from earlier today, man. How you doing?
Good. It looks great. I love that. What's that? A deep return there at the end, backside of the end zone. I like that. You got to practice it, got to rep it. But no, yeah, I think it's a great point. Jayden Reed had a lot on his plate last year. We was getting the ball in triple coverage, so let's try to drop it down to, maybe double coverage for him and then single here and there. And then I think that's just going to really open up the offense in general. But, yeah, nice little return route there.
Yep. And, Jacob, we got another tweet here I'll pull up real quick. It was from Mike Spofford, and it was about Jayden Reed. I want to get your take on Reed and what we might be looking to expect this year. Reed makes a circus catch in traffic, grabbing the deflected pass as he's falling to the ground, gets a big cheer from the Nitschke Field crowd for that one. We see it all year last year with Jayden Reed. It's a few loud, whiny fans on X, on Twitter, on all social media, made it sound as if Jayden Reed was just a horrible wide receiver. You can't be a bad wide receiver and finish with the highest passer rating when targeted amongst receivers in the league. Like, it was unbelievable, his stats. How many times have we see him go and make a catch contested? The crosser, the crosser from left to right where he goes up over a defender where Jordan just kind of chucks and ducks to him, makes a play on it. The one against, trying to think of who it was it Houston or LA, triple coverage, and he brings that pass down. That's something Jayden Reed can do, Jacob.
That was LA, wasn't it, Emilio, where they just threw up that prayer and he caught it in the I think it was the left end zone corner.
Yeah.
Reed, right? I mean, he Bird is, I'll be since Tim's not here, I'll be the advocate for Bird. The dude has just done nothing but be an absolute pro since he came into camp. And his first year I thought it was a great splash first year. Like you said, just these kind of miserable Packer fans that want to find anything to bitch about. They're going to sit here and say that Reed took a step back. We've went through the numbers. He didn't.
He got better every.
He improved literally, like in every like, and it wasn't the fact that he took a giant leap and blah blah blah. Well, guess what? There's a lot of different variables as to why that maybe didn't happen. With all the variables, with Love being hurt, with his knee, with the foot, with the groin, with everything that happened through the season, the fact that we had such a wide receiver room, he's still improved in almost every statistical category that he could. I really do feel like as well coming into this next year, we went through the propagated BS drama that was it Adam or what am I trying to say? Golden Boy, what's his name?
Matthew.
No, not him. The insider, NFL insider, Schefter.
Oh.
He tried to create that drama, absolutely, and I was really proud of the way that Jayden Reed just kind of stomped that out, like it was a fire getting out of control. He just said no, and it was, if I remember correctly, because it's a little fuzzy, I believe it was just basically a conversation with the new agent to him, like just saying like here we are kind of thing. It just really solidified the fact that he understands what it is to be a Packer. He doesn't let the media convince him to start saying stupid stuff and try to be like, look at what's going on with Micah Parsons, with Trey Henderson, with all these guys. Insert Terry McLaurin, any kind of wide receiver that's here that's just kind of not necessarily making the team better. They're trying to make themselves and their contract better. Mm-hmm. That's not what Reed did. It's not what he does. It's not what I think he's going to do. He's just been keeping his head down, understands that, Goody saw that, that wide receiver room wasn't up to snuff last year. It really wasn't. We had too many drops. We had too many miscues. So what did they do? They went and got Savion and Matthew Golden in the first round. And, I think that a guy like Reed, he's not going to be huffing and puffing. He's going to come back to camp and he's going to say, all right, I'll show you why I need to be number one.
Exactly, Jacob. And to that, he was the one that called the meeting at the lockers, right? So he was the one
Yes,
that said,
in
"Hey, boys,
Pittsburgh.
we need to square this away ASAP. Like, there's not even time for Monday to roll around. The coaches need to get through the film. No, we need to figure it out now." Absolutely love that he just brings that mentality and take a little off his plate so that you can give him more. And I think that's obviously what we're trying to shoot for, what we can go after. But I do think that Matt's going to be able to keep scheming these guys open. I think if we get all of our talent out there, we're going to be in great shape.
Yeah, and it's funny, too. We're sitting here talking about Matthew Golden. We're talking about Jaden Reed. We haven't even hardly mentioned Romeo Dobbs. Watch Romeo right here at the forefront, okay? Look at this little route right here. They're going to go slow motion with it, too. Look at his foot.
Look at this coach. Oh, I got him. Oh, no.
And look, slipped. And notice as he's grabbing his balance, watch his head. When he players are going to slip. It's going to happen. He slips and watch his head. As soon as he slips, watch him get the head up. Look, like he's preparing for the catch, even though he's trying to get his. I
love that he still sold it with like his head going. I mean, he's digging that route. Absolutely. No, I'm going. This is an out route. This is a whip. Yep.
What would you call that, Emilio? Would you call that a pivot or a whip or both?
I call that one a whip. The other one was a return, I would say. But it could be a pivot. Coach. I guess you tell me which one would you rather say? If it's coming in, is it maybe a pivot and then a whip's going out? And
I've heard it said whip in, pivot out, right? And look, here's Coach Lynn, nut route. I'm telling you, everybody calls it something different, right? So we've always said, whip in, pivot out. But
see, that's what I'm saying. And Coach right here, whip is out, and then his nut route. I mean, hey, whatever works for you, as long as everyone knows.
Inside. It's hilarious, man. So again, that's why it's important to get the terminology down to the current coaching staff and this and that. So yeah, it's just and I try not to get too caught up into all those details. We could just all, you know what I mean? Like, hey, if you call it this, I call it that. As long as you specify this is a whip in or a pivot out or a pivot in or a whip out.
As long as everybody on the team knows. Because, I mean, you could be calling it out there, on the field, and it's like, hey, these guys are thinking it's out. I honestly think that coach is Jacob when it's like 3 o'clock, 2:59, 3 o'clock, and everybody starts heading towards the lunchroom, for dinner, and it's like, oh, lost them.
Yeah. AFAM's not even listening to what we're saying. He's just watching Malik Willis back there throw. He said he looks like Joe Montana back there. Look at this.
Look at that.
I am excited to see a little Malik Willis in the preseason. And I want to ask you guys that real quick. We'll just let this roll in the background because it's so beautiful. Obviously, family night tomorrow night's going to be all over the joint, right? I never know what they're going to do. I don't think they ever know what they're going to do until they get there. Now, with that being said, preseason, how do you think this is going to shake out? Does Jordan Love play in the preseason, Jacob? Does he play at all? Do you wait till the last game of preseason? Do you get his time in early? And then let's start with that question. Do you think he's going to play? Yes or no?
I don't think he will play. I would think that they're going to use the team scrimmages. Thank you,
Patrick Bloom with the super chat says, "Whip it good."
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen the campaign?
No. What's the campaign?
You haven't seen the campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis?
That sounds great.
Oh yes. No, I have. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
All right. Is it whip it real hard? It's a quote. You got to watch it. I honestly hope they don't play him, and I hate saying that, but I want him to get the most out of the scrimmages or the inter team practices. I just don't want to go into another season. I mean, I'm just so gun shy now with. I really didn't enjoy the fact that we went to Brazil for the first game. I just thought that was just an absolute. I haven't talked about how much I hated that. Like, I don't think I did. And we went there, and what happened? The field was in crap shape, and Jordan basically screwed his whole season for that. And great, we got a bunch of guys in Brazil that now wear green and gold that already did. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to pander to any more of these kind of like, well, we need ratings in the preseason or whatever the case may be. If he needs to play, Matt LaFleur will play him. If he doesn't need to play, if he thinks that he's good, don't do it. Don't risk it. We're past the days of old where like you play your quarterback on the third preseason for a quarter and then the fourth preseason for 3 snaps. And, it's just whatever you think that we need to do, let's do. Apparently last night, the Chargers did have a lot of their offensive starters in that first series, only for a few plays. They even had like their star Omarion Hampton went out and had a couple, honestly, really great runs. And I will say this, Isaac Tesla, everyone kind of scoffed at me. Everybody kind of scoffed at me. I'm telling you, that white boy is going to be something in this league, all right?
Anytime you have to specify someone's and
Hey.
say they're a good player, I'm just saying, Jacob, it sounds like a little pre-med.
We got a chance.
We got a chance.
My take on J Love plan, I would say one drive the first game, maybe a quarter for the second.
I'd be cool with that.
And then maybe a half for the third. But you still want to
full
get
half.
I mean, if he needs it, yeah. What you're playing football now? The season starts, now. If there, there's a chance of everything happening, but if you need reps in game, you have to get them. Even if it's against, you need to get different looks. Like Matt was talking about, just seeing the defense ran something different, right? And then it put everybody into a teaching lesson. I think some of that's got to get on the tape.
What about the fact, though, that our defense seems to be so clearly ahead of our offense? And I'm not saying that as just being like, a homer type guy. I'm saying that it sounds like the defense is firing at all cylinders. I don't know if we can get into it later, but Emilio, did you get a chance to listen to Zaire Stackhouse's press conference today? Come on, dude.
I know. I was late. I'm sorry.
Can I bring it up real quick, Clayton? Is that all right?
Yeah, well, actually, let's wait till we get to the defensive side. If you don't care.
Okay.
I'm excited about it. We're going to do that
So
next. I promise.
What I would say really fast to that, Jacob, would be, but the defense is supposed to be winning right now in early, preseason. The defense has to be winning that. And for, the defense, you're also not tackling the offensive guys to the ground. So you're, I think it was Mike that you listened to, but Spocker was saying,
can't even do the stiff arms.
Right. Yeah. You can't do the stiff arms. If you're punching out the football, you're only focused on punching out. You don't have to focus on wrapping up right now. So you're losing a little bit there, but no, that would be it.
Let me give a quick shout out here. Clint, the armchair quarterback. Thank you so much, buddy. Just gifted 10 Packer fan total access memberships here on YouTube. So we really, really appreciate the support there, buddy. So 10 lucky viewers just got automatically entered into the giveaway here for Sunday, which is going to be an autographed Luke Musgrave rookie card. Right on time, too. He's had a pretty good week. Hardy the Prophet with the super chat says, coming to you live from the Hall of Fame weekend. I'll be tagging the show with pictures from the parade and the enshrinement ceremony tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hardy.
Hardy, appreciate you. What we'll probably end up doing tomorrow, just so everybody knows, we're going to be doing a day show tomorrow. Because I'm going to be at Bristol Motor Speedway tomorrow night. Now, if the guys want to do a show, I can set it up, and you guys can do a live stream during family night. I'm good with that. I'm going to leave it up to you guys, and we'll decide after the show tonight. But Hardy, we look forward to getting those clips, man, and we'll definitely show them on the program here. We really, really appreciate you, man. And also a shout out to Patrick, who just gifted 1 Packer fan total access membership. Thank y'all for keeping the lights on around this silly little show here. Y'all are awesome. So just want to show, this is a quick clip. Tight ends working on footwork, the toe drag swag here, if you will, right? And Luke Musgrave, guys, he's starting to heat up a little bit, they're saying, right? So I'm excited to see him. Now, the question is, back to what we were talking about with preseason, the reason I was asking about J-Love, what about some of these other players, man? You know what I mean? Like your Tucker Crafts, your Luke Musgraves. Do you feel like Luke Musgrave should get significant playing time in the preseason, knowing that he's kind of gotten banged up in the past? Because that's kind of a tough sell for me right there, man. It is.
I personally would like to kind of put the bubble wrap around him just to give him a fighting chance. To him, I kind of look at 2 players right now that, people talk about Christian Watson being AKA Mr. Glass. I hate that. I will fight back on that with my every being. And if you wanted to pull that moniker and throw it on someone, I think it'd definitely be more like a Marshawn Lloyd / Luke Musgrave right now. And don't get me wrong, both those guys have went through terrible injuries. Like Luke Musgrave played with a lacerated kidney, if I'm not mistaken, and finished the game, and then went through a bunch of, other kind of minor tweaks and injuries. And obviously the same thing with Marshawn Lloyd, but with Musgrave specifically, I remember, wasn't he taken in the second and then Kraft was the third, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right. Musgrave was second, Kraft was third.
I had real high hopes. That was such a really high talent tight end draft that I never in a million years thought. I think that was the most shocking thing I've ever seen, that we went 2 tight ends back to back, the second and the third round. I remember and I was a big Tucker Kraft guy. So when we got Kraft, that was when my fandom of him started. But I really thought that Musgrave was going to absolutely be a speed demon, more kind of like along the lines of like a Dalton Kincaid that they have in Buffalo, which also he hasn't came to fruition whatsoever. But right. I just think that Musgrave has every single intangible and tool and skill set to be that freak kind of split out tight end. And if he is healthy, it's just another guy. Like, who are you going to guard on this offense, guys? Who are you going to try to pinpoint? There is just too many weapons. It's simply too good.
You got anything else on the tight ends there, Emilio? You good, man?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to playing Musgrave for a little bit. Just get his feet wet, get a couple reps in there. You know, he wants to work on his blocking. Let's get him out there in a couple of those. You know, where you got to reach, maybe put him in that flyer. Matt was saying he's using him a lot in that spot. So just a few reps, I guess, if we're worried about the injury. But I feel like he's a gritty kind of guy. Even if he is a little banged up, he's going to want to fight through. So
got it. Good stuff. All right, that's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour two. We're going to break down everything that happened on the defensive side of the ball at camp practice today. We appreciate y'all.